Welcome to Revealed,
Revealing the unseen of weddings.
I'm Tracie,
And I'm Holly.
and we're here to pull back the veil on one of the most extravagant, emotional, and sometimes downright crazy industries out there.
Whether you're a bride or groom to be, seasoned wedding pro, or just someone who loves a good story, you're in the right place.
Hey!
Hello, we're here for episode 6.
It's gonna be a fun one.
Yeah, we have a lot of fucked up shit.
Yeah, basically.
Two stories.
Yeah, I finally decided to tell you all about my bride last season.
Yeah, and one that a listener submitted, so we're excited about that. And also we'll have a little tidbit, a little clip from the vendor event that we did last week.
Yes. And I will say, guys, we were at a vendor event, so it was a little loud, so there's going to be background, but it was fun. And we actually, some were the people that we know, like obviously Tara and Laura, but it was cool because we got to meet a lot of
New people.
new faces.
Yeah.
And it was a wonderful networking event, obviously provided by Casey once again. She did it again. But it was a good time. But there's some background noise in it. You might hear a little bit of a band playing.
There's some band, people talking,
chitty-chatting, doors opening, servers asking us if we needed more to eat or if we were done with our plates. So bear with us. But it was fun, and I would definitely do it again.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was awesome. Thanks, Casey.
Yeah, Casey, good luck. So, Holly, how do you want to do this? Do you want to start with what the listener sent in, or do you want me to...
I think you should go first. I think...
Stop the suspense for all our wondering listeners about the bride. So, I don't know when I brought her up. And I know it was briefly. I think it was episode 1 or 2.
Yeah, it was one of the first ones.
And I've really debated telling this story because no matter how much I leave out, like without her name, and if this bride is listening, I know she's going to know it was her. And I've really debated it, but I'm just so like disappointed in a lot of society right now. I actually was on the phone with our friend Anna yesterday, and it's just little things. And then I think, oh my God, am I turning into somebody that's like offended by stuff all the time? But I really don't think it is. So I'm going to touch base on 2 things. I'm going to talk about a wedding I did this past weekend that Anna agreed with me. And maybe she'll call in with her thoughts on this on the next episode. But let's just jump into the bride who I was just horrified with. So this bride booked me through my own company because, as you know, we're contractors. So you have a chance of getting me if you book through 3 different companies at this point in Charleston because we all are personal contractors. So companies reach out, they ask if we're available, we say yes or no. And actually, there's been a lot of times lately where I'm working for one company and I have other girls working for my company. So this was booked through my company. She came to my house for her first trial and she was nice. Her mom, I loved her mom. Her mom was so sweet, absolutely amazing. We actually talked for a long time on our front porch after the bride went and got in her car. But what she was showing me, her hair was really not capable of doing it in the state that her hair was in. So she wanted framing around her face. I told her we would have to like trim the pieces around her face because she had no framing. She didn't want that. She wanted a very specific bun, and this girl had very thick hair, very long hair. And I told her we can do that, but her bun was going to be way bigger because she had way more hair than what was in the photograph. And then she informed me that she usually gets her hair thinned out, and I was like, okay, well, that would be helpful. When's the last time you did that? And she tells me it was like a year ago. I'm like, okay. She says she's going to have it done before the wedding. Now, she didn't live here. Her family lived about 2 hours away, and she was living across the country with her future groom due to his career. So she was just in the area for that week, but it was getting near to the holidays. And my mom has a beach house up in North Carolina that I was going to be going to in the Thanksgiving time. And I said to her, I was like, look, are you guys really right off of the road 2 hours away from me? I'm trying to do this without giving away specific places.
I can always...
So where they were was about halfway between where I was going to my mom's beach house in North Carolina. I said, I wouldn't normally do this, but if you want, I said to the mom, like, if you want to try to talk her into letting me cut the framing around her face, and if you guys are interested, I could probably make it so I could come, not do a full trial, because I wasn't going to ask them for payment. This was me being nice. This was me going out of my way. I made no extra money on this. No extra money. And I said I'm not going to do like a full where we curl everything, but I can do a couple different concepts and see if we can come to something that we all agree on. They say yes, that would be great. So Thanksgiving comes up. I message them, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm leaving here on Saturday or Sunday. Does that matter? Are you pretty free? And they said, yeah, we're fine. So Saturday I text them. I text the bride. And I say, hey, I'm getting ready to leave my mom's house, so I would probably be there in about 2 hours. She texts me back. She's like, wait, you're not in Charleston. And I was like, what? I was like, no. This bride had driven to Charleston. I can hear her groom in the background, like, livid. And I was like, the whole point of this was I was doing you a favor, like, to come to you.
Oh,
like,
my God.
So then I'm like, well, you can either wait in Charleston, but I won't be there for 4 hours, or you can leave Charleston now and I can do it. But I'm like, I wasn't trying to rearrange my whole schedule either. Like, I can't help it. You screwed this one up.
Right.
So I get to her house. She was like, no, I'll meet you. We're leaving here in like 15 minutes. So it might be like more like 2.5 hours. Is that okay? I'm like, yeah, that's fine. Just an extra half an hour at my mom's house, but whatever. Which was fine. I love my mom. It was great seeing her. So shout out to Jules. I didn't mean like, oh my God, another half an hour with my mom. That came out wrong. But it was more, I'm trying to do something nice for you. And now you've impacted me. Yeah. So I get to her house, drop Ike off at a restaurant bar so you can watch the sports games while I do this. Get in. They're really nice. Like I said, they were very nice to me. They were very pleasant to me. She starts telling me how her mother-in-law wears wigs. But the way she was saying it, it made it seem like she just like enjoyed wearing wigs, or maybe she just had thin hair.
Right.
I didn't really get a sense of there was a reason behind the wigs. But she was also talking about how she buys cheap wigs and they don't look good, and she's really concerned about her wedding day, what her in-laws' hair is going to look like. And so I'm like, okay, well, I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm like, if she likes buying wigs, I don't know why she's buying cheap ones. So like, I almost felt bad about my comment, but I didn't know the scenario of what was going on. So she says to me, would you be doing her, like, styling the wig beforehand, or do you do it day of? And I said, well, if you're that concerned with it, maybe she should just drop it off to me the day before. Normally I would just do it day of, but you're scaring me with what you're saying about these wigs. Yeah. So, like, maybe just have her drop it off to me the day before. She says, okay. So the morning of their rehearsal, the day before the wedding, the mother of the groom messages me and she says, hey, I'm like having a rough start today. Is it okay if my husband drops this wig off to you, or do I need to be there? I was like, oh no, like, you don't need to be there. I can style it at my house. Right. I just need it here at my house. So it's like an hour later. I hear a knock at the door. I'm like in my pajamas. I mean, I'm not put together at all because, well, I wasn't working that day. So I answer the door, and it's the husband of, well, the father of the groom, and then the groom was there too. They both dropped it off. And the groom's father was like, we really appreciate you doing this. Like, it's just been really rough, and we're just happy she's here. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Oh, my God. And I'm just standing there kind of like shell-shocked because I have no idea what's going on. Looked at him. I was like, I'm sorry. I really don't know, like, what you're talking about. And he just looks at me. He goes, she didn't tell you. The bride didn't tell you. And I said, no. And he said his mother, pointing at the groom, has stage 4 cancer. It's terminal. And we're just glad she's still here right now. I'm on my front porch, completely caught off guard. I am a sensitive person, very empath. Like, I immediately just start feeling all this pain for this family. Also, I know what it's like to lose family members. Like, I know what it's like to go through cancer. So, like, everything I've dealt with, like, I'm just feeling all of that for this family. Yeah. I'm trying not to cry, and I just take the wig, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to make it look pretty. Close the door. Yeah, I called my husband. Well, my husband, actually, I think he texted me. He's like, who are the two strange men at the door, and why did they bring you something? And I explained it. So
they bring me hair. They're the hair fairies.
Right. Exactly. So I'm like in shell shock. I look at this wig, and I'm like, it's completely fine. Like, I've worked with wigs like this. Also, I'm in my head like, no wonder this woman isn't spending a ton of money on wigs. She's dying. Yeah. Like, if I had children and I knew I was dying, I'm not going to go out and spend $5,000 on a wig that it's only going to last me a few more weeks of my life.
Yeah.
I would rather that $5,000 go to my children and my grandchildren. I mean, to me, I wouldn't have been spending money on crazy expensive wigs either.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
And this is not like a woman who's 34 years old going through breast cancer where we're trying to get you in remission and she's still having to go to work. You know what I mean? That
She's
might want to
terminal.
buy she's terminal.
Yeah, that sucks.
She's terminal. So I go to the wedding the next morning and I pull up in the parking lot and the bride, I almost said her name. The bride is in the is in the car next to me. So I get out of the car and I go up to the window and I do my whole like spiel, like morning of. I'm like, "Hi, so and so. Happy wedding day. It's gonna be a great day." And she just looks at me and she's like, "Ugh." I'm like, "What's wrong? Is everything okay?" And she's like, "I'm not a morning person." I was like, "Okay, well, I won't keep you." Which I'm also in my head like, "Lady, do you think I'm a morning person? Like, I'm here for you. Like, I'm going to need you to get your attitude in check." I didn't say that. I'm still being very polite. And I'm like, "I just need to know if the mother of the groom is getting makeup. Because if so, she should have her makeup done before I put this wig on her." Because a lot of the makeup artists are very good about not putting their hands on top of people's head. But also a lot of makeup artists are not. So I didn't want to like put this wig on and then it'd be like slipping and sliding. Well, not even that, but like it was not an expensive wig. So I was more concerned about like the makeup artist like trying to clip something back and the whole wig coming off of her head.
Got it, yeah.
So I'm asking her if the mother of the groom needs makeup. And she looks at me and she says, "I don't really care about her right now." So I'm like, okay. I'm like, "Well, did something happen?" I was like, "What's going on?" And she goes, "She called me a bridezilla yesterday in front of everybody at the rehearsal."
Oh my God.
Which I'm in my head like, well, I mean, girl, in all fairness, you kind of have been lately. But anyway, like, whatever. I'm still not doing that. I'm still keeping my mouth shut. I said, "Well, was she joking?" And she goes, "Probably, but I don't care." She was like, everybody was talking while the planner was telling us, like, what to do. So I finally looked at everybody and yelled at them to shut up. Which, first of all, I think that's so classless. Like,
Yeah.
I would never look at my friends and my family in one of these beautiful venues in front of a planner and possibly venue workers and tell everybody to shut up.
Yeah. I'd be like, "Hey, attention over here."
Right.
Or like something, you know, like.
Just like classless. Or I could even be like, "Hey guys, can you please be quiet?" Just the shut up. Like, I was raised in a house where we don't tell people to shut up.
Yeah.
Now I yell at my husband sometimes and I tell him to shut up. It drives me nuts. But I just was raised, and okay, maybe that's like prude. Maybe I was raised into closed off of a household. But we didn't say shut up to each other. My mom didn't like it. She didn't want us saying it to our siblings, and I just have grown up thinking
It's just not nice.
it's like calling people names. Like, you
Yeah.
don't need to cuss at people. You don't need to tell somebody to shut up.
Yeah.
You can say, "Can you please be quiet? Can you, like."
Yeah.
So I'm in my head like, well, you shouldn't have told everything to shut up. Like, whatever. And she goes, so when I told everybody to shut up, she called me a bridezilla. And so
if it looks like a duck,
right,
it
quacks
probably
like a
is
duck. Yeah. Yeah. So I was like, all right, let's call this girl Susan. We're calling her Susan.
Susan.
I was like, all right, Susan.
No offense to all the other Susans.
Yeah, I know.
That are nice.
Well, yeah, I know. My husband's boss's wife, Susan, and I love her.
It's like hurricanes,
yeah.
hurricane season.
Yeah.
Like all the names. We should just start going off our hurricane
So
season.
no offense to any Susans. I'm like, okay, Susan, like let's take a beat. I'm like, why don't you just kind of forget that happened? And I said, I was like, the woman's dying, so like, why don't you give her a break? And she looks at me, and without missing a beat, she says, "Not quick enough."
Oh my God. Oh my God, I can't. I've heard this story before and I still can't
It
even
makes me sick to my
just get
stomach.
over it.
It makes me sick to my stomach.
Yeah.
How do you say that about somebody that is dying?
Like
Whether
anyone,
you're
like,
joking,
yeah.
whether you were caught in the moment, and like, okay, fine, you say that. Even if I had said that out loud, I would have immediately been like, "Oh my God, I didn't mean that. Like, I didn't mean that. That wasn't funny. I shouldn't have said that." Like, no, there was like no remorse. And I am so thankful that I was still outside, because if I had been in the house, I think I would have walked out and not gone back in.
Yeah.
But because I was outside, I was like, I'm going to go set up now. I was like, that's not nice.
Terrible.
I think I literally said those words. That's not it. I don't even remember what I said. I don't remember if I said
Like a
that's not
blackout
nice
moment.
or wow. Like, so then even walking up to the house, I'm like, okay, she shouldn't have said that. Maybe this mother-in-law just is like a horrible person too.
Right.
Nope. No. Mother-in-law comes in. She's asking Susan if she needs food. She's asking Susan if she can get her champagne. She's telling Susan how beautiful she looked.
Oh
I
my
mean, like,
God.
one of the kindest mother-in-laws I've ever met. Didn't cry, didn't get in her feelings about herself, like, was so selfless that day. Sat there, didn't talk to me about anything sad. She was like, I'm just grateful. I'm grateful I'm here. I'm grateful I get to see this. I'm grateful my husband, my son met this woman that he's so happy with. And I'm thinking in my head, oh my God, she's a demon. Go. Like,
Right.
it was really bad. And this bride loved me. And it hurt my heart. Like, I was trying to leave and she was like hugging me. And I just was standing there like completely tense. Like, please get off of me.
Right.
And she was not mean to me. She was not rude to me. And I think this is why I've like debated telling this story.
Yeah.
So hard because I don't know if it was she was in her head that I really try to hope all the time that this was not her. This was like she was stressed from her wedding. Like she wouldn't really say that about somebody that was dying. It also did not help that we had a death in our family a week before. It was a friend of the family, but a very close friend of the family. So like I was already dealing with that, which I can check at the door. But like I'm literally thinking about this person that I had known that passed away. And now you're wishing death on somebody.
Yeah.
When this woman is really dying. So I packed up my stuff. I was walking down the stairs to leave. And the groom and the groom's father were standing at the bottom of the stairs. And it was really one of the biggest challenges of my life to not look at him and say, don't marry this woman. And I mean it. Like, I stood there for a moment, and finally I just said, happy wedding day, and I left. But it took everything I had not to say that. I would want to know if my husband said something like that.
Absolutely.
I would not have married my husband if it had been roles reversed and we were in that situation.
Yeah.
And people can say that's ridiculous. I wouldn't have. That you would wish death, whether you're joking or not, on one of my parents on our wedding day who was dying already.
Yeah. No, absolutely not. An ex-boyfriend had done that to me, obviously not during my wedding, but I can't even imagine. Like, I can't even, like, okay, so say it's your worst enemy, and, like, they, like, I
still don't wish death on them.
No. And
I
never
don't.
wish death on anyone.
Yeah, I don't. I have anger. A lot of anger for one very specific person. A lot of anger. And a lot of hate. That I have thought, if I had one day of the purge, I would definitely go mess with this person. Takes a lot. What that person did to me, awful. And I still don't know that if I had the chance that I could do anything. Like, it's fun to think about, if I could purge one night, I would go mess this guy up. Like, I still couldn't. I can't imagine. Because I can say, like, I try to think, like, it was the wedding weekend. Maybe she wasn't in the right headspace. But
still, though, that's like...
I feel like this was before that. I mean, she knew at the trial when I was doing her hair that her mother-in-law was dying of cancer, and she left that part out. I mean, I feel like this was just, like, blatant. Like, she didn't want the cancer to, like, take away her attention on the day. I don't know. Like,
I don't know. Or, like,
just...
like, the only, like, okay, going deep down into it, like... Even if, like, say the mother abused the groom, like, growing up, and, like, the wife-to-be had, like, this vendetta against her because, like, of that shit. Like, even if that's the case, I still don't think it's appropriate.
I
can't think of
and honestly,
any
like,
reason that
that
would be appropriate.
That's like what I just said to you, like, where I was walking in thinking, okay, maybe this woman's just, like, a really big bitch.
Yeah.
Like, has made her life hell. No. And I don't know how you play the part, and this is coming from somebody that has, like, narcissism around her on a regular basis. I know people can play a really good act in front of other people.
Yeah.
But I don't really feel like this was an act. Like, I watched this woman's eyes light up when she saw the bride. And, like, I just...
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it was an act from the mother-in-law. I don't think so. Either way, I'm dying on this hill. This was the worst thing I've ever dealt with.
Yes.
I didn't want to be at this girl's wedding. Like, I didn't want to be working it. I wanted to leave.
I can't do this.
Well, and honestly, financially, if I could have, and I've said
Yeah.
that before, like if I had all the finances in the world, that it would have been easy for me to just give her back the thousands of dollars she paid. I really probably would have. Like if my company was more underway and I was really making a ton of money
Right.
every year, I do think that I would have said, I'm sorry, I'm refunding you your money.
Yeah. You can find somebody else.
Good luck.
In this last moment.
In this last minute,
Yeah.
yeah. And good luck.
Ugh. Yeah. No, can't.
It was really hard for me. It was going against like my moral compass even staying.
Yeah. That's hard. That's tough. I'm sorry that happened. That's so shitty.
These brides are out of control, man.
Yeah, just like people in general are out of control. Like what the fuck? Like who says that?
Yeah, I'm telling you, I can't remember. And this has been months now, and I've told this story several times. It's still, every time I tell it, I'm still like dumbfounded by it.
Yeah, I can't. No.
And I think this is probably the last time I'll tell it because I really don't like it. It literally makes me sick to my stomach.
Episode 6, The Grave.
Yeah. Yeah.
The drama grave.
It just stays where it's at now. But I know that I've had multiple people after listening to the episode ask me what I was talking about. So there it is.
It's
Cat's
here.
out of the bag. I was going to hold off for a while. If this bride is listening, you were kind to me, but do better.
Yeah, hopefully it was and like you said, an off moment, and that this isn't actually her all the time. That's all I can say.
Somehow deep down, I feel like it probably.
I mean, like, how do you say something like that if it's not
Yeah.
like somewhere in you?
She was very much like just photos and content she was putting out after the wedding. I just feel like this is probably just who this girl is.
Dang.
Which is sad.
Unfortunate.
And also her mom was like, I think that shocked me too, because I think her mom would have been horrified to hear her say that. Maybe I'm wrong, but
Hopefully
the vibes I was getting from her mom were not, like, I really truly loved her mom. I don't
Interesting.
know. It was interesting. But that then leads me to what I was talking about with Anna yesterday. And listeners could be like, oh my God, you're just being like a typical American, you're offended. I feel like people need to think about what they say just in general.
Yeah, 100%.
And
that goes back to like having a dialogue versus not having an inner dialogue.
Yeah.
But that's like
it happens a lot. And it's not just brides, it's not just bridesmaids. I've been shocked sometimes with mothers talking to me. Like people that I'm like, man, you are old enough to like
know
better.
Yeah.
So this is not something I talk about, and I might even have Holly edit this out, but I'm just going to put all my cards on the table. Ika and I have been trying to have children, and unfortunately, there's been miscarriages, and I have PCOS, which has made it more of a struggle. There's been a lot of heartbreak. With PCOS, you sometimes don't get a period, so while trying,
you can't tell when you're ovulating.
Yes,
if you're
and
ovulating.
I've been excited that maybe I was, and then I'll finally take the test, and then it's like, nope. So it's been very heartbreaking. But I'll have mothers. It's happened twice now. Not the exact same conversation where they're like, do you have kids?
Yeah.
And I say no. And they're like,
when are you going to
do you want kids? And I'm like, yeah. And one went as far as to say, well, how old are you? Don't you think you should start trying now?
Oh my God, what?
And I just like sat there.
Like
and
you
I'm,
have no idea what
yeah,
people are going through.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Exactly. The heartbreak. Like,
yeah.
and I'm just in there trying to do my job. Like, I'm just trying to do hair.
Yeah.
I went through like a 2-second dialogue in my head of, okay, do I put her in her fucking place?
Right.
Do I say something to make her feel guilt and maybe like teach her that this isn't okay?
I'm always like, oh, we've been trying.
Yeah. So I looked at her. I was like, well, I have PCOS. I've had multiple cyst rupture. I've had to go to the hospital for it. I've had miscarriages. We don't even know if I can carry. And of course, then she's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. But like, why? I shouldn't have had to put my business out there.
Yeah, no.
Like, do better.
That's like
Do better.
Yeah. Especially going that far. Like every wedding that I would work, at least one person would ask me about kids, and that's like whatever. We went through our own stuff with that, but like to even take that a step further and then be like, well, how old are you? Like, what?
It's crazy. And the thing is, this has happened to me with other things throughout my life. I've been told congratulations because somebody thought I was pregnant. I used to like let that really bother me, but I've met so many women that has happened to.
Yeah.
Like, do better.
I don't
care if you look like you're about to pop. I will not congratulate you until you have clarified that you are pregnant.
Yep.
Like, I won't do it because you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know. It's crazy. When I lived in Calvert County, I had a police officer pull me over, ask me if I was pregnant, and I was so confused. I had just handed him my registration, so like in my mind, I was so confused by this question. Like, I'm like, oh my god, does my registration say I'm pregnant? Like, I'm like literally like what's happening? And I was like, no. I'm like, it's a man, it's a male cop. Like, okay, I'll let this slide. Like, I'm trying to remain calm. And he follows up with, oh, did you just have a baby? What? First of all, if I was pregnant or I just had a baby, is this going to get me out of a ticket? Because that's screwed up too.
Right? Or he's like trying to pick up line and it didn't work.
Right,
It's like,
like,
are you pregnant? And you're like, no. And he's like, oh, do you want to be?
So then I'm just sitting there at that point, like shell shocked. And I wasn't even like, my weight was not really an issue at that point. Like, I was shocked. Like, really shocked. And he walks away with my registration. And then he comes back. I had gold star tags because my brother was killed in Iraq. He comes back and he goes, who'd you know in the military? And I said, my brother. So he clearly knew that they were military tags, but he had no idea what they meant because he goes, oh, is he still in? And I looked at him. I was like, no, he died in Iraq.
It's like just one question after the other.
Yeah,
huh?
I couldn't help it. I looked at him and I was like, you want to talk about my parents' divorce? And he just looked really confused.
Clap back.
Yeah. He still gave me a ticket, Holly. He still gave me a ticket. I went into that courtroom. I asked the bailiff. I went in early. I asked the bailiff if there was any way that I could talk to the judge. And the bailiff obviously was like, you need to tell me what you want. Like, we don't just let people go talk to a judge. So I told the bailiff what happened. He was like, let me relay this. They called my name and the cop. And I got up to the front, and the judge looked at the cop, and he said, this case is being thrown out.
Good. Fuck that shit.
And the cop, I think, was very confused at that point, and the judge said, if you would like to talk to me in my chambers after this, you can. What the hell? The nerve to still give me a ticket after you've insulted me twice, brought up my dead brother. Like, it's just insane. And there's so many good cops out there, so, like, I don't want this to, like, come off as, like, I still love police officers and still love cops. I think there's good cops, bad cops. Just like there's good doctors, bad doctors, good hairstylists, bad hairstylists. Like, I think, but this guy was just awful. But it's just like thinking about what you say. My wedding on Saturday, bridesmaid sat down in my chair, and I had already done 2 people. And she sits down, and I know she probably wasn't thinking anything of it. But she says to me, I don't want it to look like I have a growth on my head.
Why? Oh my god, I hate when people say shit like that.
So first of all, I know you don't know me, man, but go on my Instagram because none of my work looks like you have a growth on your head. I'm sorry. Like, it is what it is. I do pretty decent hair.
Yep.
I don't make people look like they have growths on their heads.
Yeah.
If you all would like to check out my Instagram, it's Tresses, Tracie, and you can let me know if you guys see growths because I would love to know other people's opinions. But she had also seen 2 other people that I had already done. So that to me, and maybe somebody made her look like that at one point.
Then say,
but I
like,
would never.
I'm self-conscious.
It's how you word it. Yeah, people are so rude.
Yeah.
I walked into the bathroom. I was like, I need to go wash my hands, and I'm like, am I done? Like, am I checked out on wedding hair? Like, am I checked out? Because I just think people are rude. They don't think what I would never walk into my nail tech and say, I don't want my nails to look like, I don't know. I don't even know what, I don't want it to look like I have growths on my hands.
Yeah.
No, even if I had an issue, I would just go in and politely say, hey, the last time I got them done, they were a little thicker than I prefer. So unless you highly recommend it, like maybe they did it for a reason that I don't know, but I would like them a little thinner.
Yeah.
A growth on your head. And she just seemed, I don't know. You can also pick up people's body language and like
number one
I think I
reason
didn't like that girl
had
that
to
sent us to
get
shit.
out.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
literally.
I'm very much a vibes person. I'm very much like, I've been through a lot, and I've been through a lot of trauma, and I've been through a lot of friendships. I've had issues within my family with family members. I have become a pretty good judge of character at this point. And if my gut is telling me that I don't like you, I listen to my gut now.
Yeah, because it's not really worth it.
It's not. I'm going to protect myself at this point because I've been hurt by too many people.
Yeah.
And I really am a vibes person. And if you give off a vibe, I won't be nasty to you, but I'm not going to be friends with you.
Yeah. Be civil,
like,
and that's it.
Yeah. I'm here to, if it's somebody I'm working with, I'll be civil with you. But once you've, like, I don't know. And I pick up vibes right off the bat. I actually worked with a girl yesterday. We had an elopement wedding. I had never worked with her before. I freaking love her. And we didn't even really talk that much while I was doing hair, but we started messaging on Instagram, and we messaged a lot yesterday, and I was like cracking up with her. I don't know. She just gave me good vibes. Like, she's a good human.
Yeah.
I'll say she's new in the area. Ashley, her makeup was beautiful. She's not new to the industry. She does wedding hair and makeup up in Michigan, and now she's moved down here to do it like both places.
Okay.
Super sweet girl. But I'm a vibes girl. And if I get a bad vibe for you, and I think it's affecting like my work days now, because there's been several weddings where at least somebody in the party, I'm like, oh God, you're draining my energy.
Yeah, just a sucker.
Yeah, like
what's an
energy sucker?
Succubus.
Yeah.
Succubus.
Yes. Anyway, people do better. Think about what you say, because I feel like it's not okay to ask somebody if they have. I don't even care that you ask if I have kids. I really don't. I mean, that's a common question. We're sitting here with people. It's just like a normal question, like, "Hey, are you married? Do you have kids?" Cool, drop it. If I say no,
like,
don't
maybe
ask
they
me
don't
why.
know that it's like inappropriate, or maybe like if you don't experience it or have somebody in your life that has experienced like infertility.
But that's where I'm saying with the older people, I don't believe that they haven't experienced it at that point. I know that older people have either dealt with miscarriages or have friends. I mean, Ika, when we told Ika's mom about the last miscarriage, she was obviously heartbroken for us, but she said, like, don't give up. I have friends that went through this. So I feel like I would almost be okay with it if it was a 22-year-old that was like, oh, are you going to keep trying? I feel like at the age of a mother, which right now is anywhere from, I would say, like mid-40s to late 60s of mothers that I've worked with, you've had to have known somebody that went through this.
Yeah, for sure. People just don't think. And, it's one thing, like, okay, I'm sure that I've offended people, like, not realizing that I have, but, like, the second somebody, like, says something to me, it's like, oh, this offends me. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, didn't mean it like that. And
I could possibly potentially say things that upset people that I don't realize.
And I think about it for the rest of my life.
Or that you don't get. I wish people would tell me, though. Yeah. If I ever say something, because I don't want to make that mistake if it's not something I've thought about or, gone through myself. I just think that
the awareness is lacking.
Correct. 100%.
Unfortunately.
But then in that moment, like, with her, so there's always, like, the people that I'm like, what the heck? And then there's obviously always really good people. You know this. But I had my miscarriage while working a wedding. And I hate to say it. I feel like I've worked with brides that it would have been clear that they were not happy with that situation. The bride that I was with, oh my God, was an angel. Like, she's like, we're going to call an ambulance. Like, please go lay down. I'm in my head, like, who's going to do your hair? Like, I didn't want to leave. And the two girls I was working with were like, Tracie, like, we'll get it covered. Like, you need to go to the hospital. And I am going through a miscarriage, and all I can think about is this bride. Like, who's going to do her hair? This bride was like, I don't even care if my hair's not done today. Aww. Like, she was so kind. I mean, I really feel like God puts you where you need to be.
That's true.
Because I was with two stylists that are pretty good friends of mine. I was with a bride who literally stopped what she was doing. She was sitting with me while I was laying on the couch. And she's talking to me. Do you need anything? What can I do for you? The wedding planner was contacted by the hair company I was working for because I obviously had to let them know that I needed to go to the hospital. And the wedding planner, she like took me downstairs to a more private area, and she sat there with me and she talked and she told me about her own struggles. Like, very kind people. So I know that there's really good people. I just feel like there's also people that I really want to like shake sometimes and be like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
But I do believe that they don't always realize what they're saying. I just need people to think a little bit before. We're just there trying to do our job. We don't need wounds opened up. And I think it's the fact that she asked me my age and like basically was like, you're getting old.
Yeah. It's like, oh, gee, thanks.
My great-grandmother had her last child age 49, so I am not giving up hope.
Yeah, my dad and his sister, my aunt, were 21 years apart.
Yeah, my grandfather was one of 13 kids, and that's my dad told me when I was talking to him this last time that it happened. And he was like, don't give up. Your great-grandmother was 49. I was like, well, I don't know if I want to be... I mean, I really want kids, but 49, I don't know. I'm tired now. Like, I don't know if I can chase after a 2-year-old at 51. We'll see. Whatever. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be.
Yeah. It'll happen how it happens.
Have you had experiences where people have said things that you're just like, what the hell? Why would you say that?
Oh my God. All the time. Literally. Every time I've worked. I can't even think of, like, one specific thing. A big trigger for me. Like, if I was... like in your situation with the bride saying that about the mother-in-law, I don't think I would have been able to, because like my dad passing away, like that's a big trigger for me, like at weddings, and like a good big trigger for me, like when the brides would have their fathers like and like dancing with them and like, you know, having
it's
a
hard.
good time, like the first look and everything. That's a big trigger for me in a good way, because I'm glad that they have that. But, like, if somebody were to say, like, something ill about, like, their mother or father or whatever, no matter the circumstance, like, something like that, I would have been like, absolutely not. Yeah. Like, no way.
It's hard. And I get the trigger with I always hated doing prom hair. Because I didn't go to my junior prom thinking I would go to my senior prom. And then Matt was killed a month before our senior prom. So I obviously didn't go. And, like, it was nice doing prom hair. But it killed me every time. Like, I'm like, I didn't get to do this. I didn't get to. Knowing what I do now, I still wouldn't change it, because I also know that I was not in a mind space where I wanted to, a head space where I wanted to be at prom.
Yeah.
But that's why I try not to do prom hair really anymore, unless it's like kids of friends or kids of clients. Like,
right. Yeah, that makes sense.
The father thing has to be tough.
Yeah, it's like one of those things, like, it really sucks. And it makes me emotional, but it's also, like I said, it's a good trigger, because, like, it's like, oh, thank God that they have them.
You would never wish it on anybody else. Yeah. Yep. Well, this took a turn.
Yeah.
Let's get into some funny stuff. Some drama. I don't know. I haven't heard this story. I think Holly briefly, like, read over it, but I think she might still be shocked with some stuff.
Yes, I just glazed over it. So this was sent in by a listener.
Is she wanting to remain anonymous, or is she putting her name out there?
I'm gonna keep it anonymous, because we didn't really say. Because submitted through the form, it says that we're gonna keep it anonymous. Gotcha. So we're gonna keep it anonymous. But I am gonna let her know that we are telling this story, so then she can choose to share it or not.
Perfect.
Okay. So my maid of honor, also my best friend and college roommate, completely dropped the ball on planning my bachelorette party. We arrived and nothing was booked. She claimed she didn't have... It's like, oh, let's go do this.
How do you not book something? Like, to stay? Is she talking about there was no place to stay?
We arrived and nothing was booked. She claimed she didn't have time. It's like, well, why would you even, like, let us come here if you didn't book it?
I need to know, also, I need details, and maybe they'll give us, I need to know, like, did you fly somewhere? Did you drive somewhere? How far were you from home? Were people factoring in, like, they needed the money to pay for the hotel? Like, what? Okay, go ahead. Let's see if I get these details.
She says, I decided to be laid back about it. I wanted to have fun, not cause drama. Parentheses, my mom had already had that covered at the wedding.
She already had the drama covered.
Well, it sounds like it. Then out of nowhere, she pulls my hair and throws a drink on me. What? Okay. At my own bachelorette party, I somehow end up apologizing to her, and she calls my mom to come pick her up. Oh, she calls her mom to come pick her up. I'm crying and begging her not to leave. I still don't know what even set her off. I'd be like, bye, bitch.
Yeah.
See you later.
So, like, okay, I want to contact this person and be like, I need these answers.
Right.
Where
need
were
a
you?
follow-up.
Like, was this the day up? Like, had you just gotten there? Did you go to dinner? And, like, okay, go ahead.
Right. Fast forward to her wedding. By then, I'm married with 2 kids, and she tells me, you better lose baby weight by my wedding. I would not even have been friends with her anymore after all of this.
Oh my god, and this is perfect because we just talked about what people shouldn't say.
Yes, yeah. Her bachelorette party was in NYC, New York City, and a few of her bridesmaids' teachers were worried about the cost. But she insisted we stay at the Lotte New York Palace. I'm probably probably saying that wrong. Lotte New York Palace for a photo op overlooking St. Patrick's Cathedral. She's not an influencer or creator. She just wanted the pic. That goes back to what we were saying, like the content and everything.
Yeah. I hate social media.
Yeah.
I know that we're doing this on social media, but I really hate it.
Yeah.
And if it meant us like giving up the podcast and getting rid of social media, I would do it in a heartbeat. I think social media is the downfall of society.
Yeah.
But go on.
It's like, yeah. Story for another time.
Yes.
She had me make custom baskets for every guest, monogrammed robes, personalized straws, trinkets, and even envelopes of cash so everyone had spending money when they arrived.
Who was providing the money? Her?
I guess. I don't know.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Then after the wedding, her husband had a birthday party. I wasn't invited. When I asked why, she said, I know you think you're friends with my friends, but you're just not, all because I was married with kids. Eventually, I took on a design client she previously had a falling out with, and she blocked me, and that's how our friendship ended. What? I have so many questions.
I have so many questions. We need to get this girl on a phone call.
Yeah.
Because I have tons of questions.
Yes. If you're listening, we'll call her L.
Yeah, let's call you L. I'm like, would you be willing to come on this podcast?
Yes.
Because I feel like you synopsised this story, which was great, and we are glad you sent it in. But I have so many questions.
We need all of the details.
Like, also, did you go to New York? I wouldn't have gone. Oh
Or,
my
like,
god, I would have purposely gained 10 more pounds. Like, eat another cheeseburger. That is so ignorant. Like,
no,
oh.
can't. No. Like, okay, so I had the wedding that I was a bridesmaid in. My friend, one of my good friends, a lot of her family didn't approve of tattoos. Obviously, as hairdressers, we all have a lot of tattoos,
right.
Just because of the creative field that
Holly
we're in.
and I both have sleeves.
Yes, yeah, both have sleeves. And about 5 of us, I would say, out of like maybe 8 bridesmaids had visible tattoos, and she was very tolerant of that, and she would never ask us to cover them.
Never. So the girl that was supposed to be in my wedding that bailed, we're not going to talk about it because that really was a good friendship to me, and I'm really sad about it. I can't even get to the anger stage. I'm just sad. Like, yeah. I'm shocked that we had the falling out that we had, but and I really hope one day that we can patch it up. Anyway, she called to see if I would care if her hair was blue for the wedding, and I was like, absolutely not. Is that going to make you happy? I've been to too many weddings where I felt really uncomfortable in my own skin.
That's sad.
Either due to the dresses or due to how they wanted hair and makeup done. And I refused to ever do that to any of my bridesmaids.
Yeah,
like, I don't give a shit if your hair is blue in my wedding pictures. I don't care. I have tattoos in my wedding pictures. My hair was a normal color in our wedding pictures, but I just wanted blonde, so it was fine. But, like, I'm pretty sure I had my nose ring in on my wedding day, and my mom was not happy about it. I can't remember if I took it out or not.
Who they are and like not what they look like, and like if you love these people, you don't care.
And
like,
if you do care, then just don't ask them to be in the wedding.
Yeah,
and that speaks volumes of how much you don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
yeah,
but don't make them go through the motions because you want more people spending money on you.
Yep.
just don't invite them to your, like, if you knew that was an issue. I cannot imagine telling somebody that they needed to lose weight before my wedding. Like, I would never do that. My God, that's just like saying, like, can you get the braces taken off before the wedding?
Yeah, like, no.
Can you make sure you have contacts in and not wearing glasses at my wedding? I can't imagine saying these things to people.
Yeah.
I really can't fathom it. It is crazy to me, the brides that expect their guests to all dress a certain way. One of my sister's friends told me she attended a wedding where the bride and groom sent each guest, like, I think these people clearly had money. I mean, money. We're past rich. They're wealthy. But sent their guests each $1,000 to make sure that they bought a specific wardrobe from, I think it was like 3 different designers that they could pick from. Are you kidding me? No normal person is looking at these pictures. I wouldn't know if you're in Dolce & Gabbana or Target. No. Honest to God.
Target.
Yeah, I don't get it. Well, Target went a little rogue with their like 1800s outfits for a while, so I might have known that was Target. But I feel like they're back on track now. I don't know. I haven't been in a Target in a long time.
Cottagecore. They were cottagecore.
Yeah, they were terrible.
I liked some of them. I can't pull up. I don't feel like I can pull up cottagecore though. Yeah. I'm a little too alternative for cottagecore.
Yeah, I can't picture you in that at all. Do you know who I could picture in it?
Anna.
Yes!
Anna,
and she would be rocking
yeah.
it. Like, she would make it sexy. I don't know how she would do it, but she would do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. People suck. This just goes to reiterate that. I mean, and there's plenty of good people out there.
Yeah.
Like,
we need the good people to all come together and be a big friend group.
Exactly. We were just talking about earlier before we turned on the podcast how I want to be a mermaid. Because I like want the opposite of Ariel. Like, she wanted to be with the people. I'm like, I want to be where the people aren't.
Yes.
In my own little cave, swimming with fish and collecting fun little sparkly trinkets that I find on the floor of the ocean. That's
Jingle
where
hoppers.
I'm at. Yeah. Can we get Mako Island? I need to get to Mako Island in the moonlight.
I'm in.
Let's do it.
I didn't know. I didn't remember what it was until Tracie told me like an hour ago. But I'm in.
Oh my gosh! Respond to us if you know what I'm talking about when I say Mako Island. I would be interested to know how many people know what Mako Island is.
Or have been.
Yes.
Also, could you imagine the weddings under the sea?
Oh my God, they would be phenomenal.
Like the hair, like
just
like
blowing in the water. Yes.
So pretty.
Yeah. I actually saw...
How do we do a photo shoot like that?
I don't know. I bet you we could, though.
That
I mean, iPhones go underwater now.
Yeah. We should do a photo shoot.
Shh. Nobody take our idea.
Yeah.
We're going to do a mermaid photo shoot. I actually saw... This is totally off topic, but if anybody's doing like a beach-themed wedding, they were on Instagram, but I'm sure you could find them if you just Googled. They were so pretty. They were a set of 2, like, for the bride and groom champagne glasses. Mm-hmm. It was a gold stem with this beautiful, like, opaly mother of pearl shell.
What? And
the shell was like what you drank out of.
What?
I'm like, I need these. And then I was about to buy them, and I was like, no way, Holly and I can make these, so we're going to do that on craft day.
Okay, yeah. With our pots.
I have total faith in us. Yes. The teacup pots. Did I send that to you?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm rarely on Facebook Messenger, and when I saw it, I was like, I don't know how long ago she sent me this.
Yes, the pots. I want to do it so badly.
Yeah.
I have lots of pots out there, too.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to use them for something, but who was I with? Oh, Amy. Amy was so mad at me this day. We're totally off topic here, but I don't care. I found on Facebook Marketplace this, like, it looked like a garden center. But it also kind of just looked like it was somebody's backyard, and it just was a bunch of pots I looked up in Facebook Marketplace planners. We get there, like, you couldn't even walk. It was like Hoarders Are Us, but for outdoors.
Ooh.
And there was nothing inside, so a lot of it was, like, ruined and old, but there were, like, some really good finds. But Amy is, like, walking through there. She's like, oh, my God, my legs are getting itchy. She was like, where did you bring me? I knew.
Oh, my God.
Losing her mind being at this flower plant place, but... We need to go there, Holly, because I think you would appreciate it.
I'm down.
I don't think Amy appreciated it. I think Amy was ready to kill me.
As long as I'm prepared for like being itchy or
Yes.
like
So I
sweating.
wasn't itchy. I think
I'm
it
okay.
was just, and you do have to dig for good stuff, but it's in Mount Pleasant. It's on a corner. I'm sure you've seen it. Yeah,
with
the
all
corner.
the, like,
yes.
have, like the wind.
You can literally just pull up and walk through all there and pick what you want.
That's awesome. Okay, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm in.
Yeah, and like I got, I think probably 27 planners for like $150.
That's awesome.
And some of them are like, some of them are plastic, some of them are like sturdy like stone. And I got a bird bath.
I want a bird bath.
Well, we're gonna redo that one day.
Ooh, okay.
I
want to experiment with concrete.
Me
sure.
too, and that's what I want to do. So we can plan on doing the teacups and my planners all in one day.
Okay.
But we should probably wait until the fall because it's humid. It's hell right
That's
now.
a good idea.
I feel like we're living in Satan's armpit. Yeah.
And today's a quote unquote cooler day. It's like only 90.
Satan's armpit. Hey guys, can we talk about how good Ram's doing?
Yeah, we're at Tracie's house and
no
sleepy.
barking. He's doing good. He's a good little bear.
I don't know if you can hear the nice ambient music.
Oh yeah, I put a river on.
A
There's a
little
river on my
ambiance.
TV. My husband came home with, what size TV is this? It's like an 86-inch. 85. My husband came home with this huge TV, and I hate it. I absolutely hate it. It's bigger than my fireplace, than my mantle. I'll take a picture, and Holly can share this to our Instagram. But now he's mad at me because he says our electricity bill is going to be nonstop because I keep putting like really pretty scenes up on this.
So
Yeah. I'm like, look, if you were going to put this big black screen on my wall, I'm going to make it look pretty.
And it does.
It does. It looks really pretty. I've been on a YouTube kick finding different. Sometimes I do like a still print that looks like a framed print. And then other times I put on flowing rivers with jazz music or calming piano. It's very nice. Highly recommend.
Tracie's house is like the epitome of safe calmness.
Aw, thanks. I
Like-
try. That's why I never want to leave my house.
It's chill.
Yeah. I want to be where the people are. It's like fairy tale, witchy, cozy chic.
Yeah. So just what you described is what I want, only a little darker.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
We're going to get Holly's house decorated. Thanks for listening, guys, while we talk this out.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, we totally digressed, I know, so thanks for sticking with us in the end. But
I love that that's your like word of choice.
Digress.
Digress.
Yeah, digress. I digress. Thanks for listening. I don't know where everybody's feelings are with this episode, if you think we're just like complaining or bitching, but I really don't think so. I think that we're sad with people. We need people to do better.
Yeah. Let us know what you think and want to hear. If you have stories, send them in. We have links on our profiles. I keep saying we're on Instagram and TikTok. Really, we're just on Instagram because I have a hard time posting anything on TikTok.
I don't even know how to TikTok.
Yeah, I have my personal one, and my business one that I also don't post anything on.
Yeah, I don't TikTok.
I'm
an Instagram person. And even Instagram is very hard for me sometimes. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, Instagram, I try to be pretty active with
I
it.
hate being active with Instagram. My wedding company is not active on Instagram. My Tresses by Tracie page is about the only page that I really like water every day.
I love that.
What?
Water.
Water.
I
I water it. Maybe I could water my plants every day. I've got some outside that are dying, but now I'm busy watering my Instagram. Oh, and can we do like a little poll on this episode?
Mm-hmm.
I have a question. For all the brides out there, brides-to-be, do you truly pay attention to how many followers people have? Because I really want to know the answer to this. And I want you to be honest. Like, no judgment. We're not going to judge you. Is there a way they can submit their answer? Oh, can we do like a poll on Instagram? Go to our Instagram. I want to do a poll. I want to know who really is out there paying attention to the followers. And then a second poll that maybe we can do this week is I want to know like how you feel about. I watch a lot of people with huge followers where they show up to weddings in like t-shirts and yoga pants, and they're like, it shouldn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, what I'm wearing, what I do is my work, and I'm good at it. Like, what are your thoughts on that too? Do you want us to be comfortable? Do you want us to? I just want to get an idea. I always show up in a dress or in like very nice jumpers or black slacks. I tend to stay like in the black or the neutral colors, but I just want to know like what's important to people for you as a bride when you're hiring somebody. What is important to you? But I would love to know answers to that.
Yeah, visit us on Instagram or go follow us actually on Instagram at revealed_wedding_pod, and we'll post those polls and see what you all think.
Yes, please
That's
do.
a good idea. And then also stay tuned after this episode, after we wrap up, for Laura from Silhouette on Site from the vendor event at Swain Boating Center, and then Erica, also from Silhouette on Site, and some of their crazy stories.
And let us know if you want either of them back specifically. We're going to probably bring them back.
Yeah.
I think Laura has
some
a
wild
lot of
stories
stories to tell. She owns a company here in Charleston in the industry, so I think she knows lots of stories. But if anybody that we have interviewed throughout the next couple episodes, if there's people you want to hear back, if you want to hear Casey back, if you want to hear Anna back, well, we're going to bring back Anna.
Yeah, Anna's going to be
whether
here
you
no
want
matter what.
whether you want her back or not, because we want her here. If you are a vendor and you want to be on, please reach out to us.
Yeah.
Especially now, I know that like things are dying down. So like I think Holly and I have talked about it. Like we're okay to like really get together one day and have a bunch of people come talk, and then like split it up into episodes. I know that fall it starts getting busier. So if you're interested, want to be on, I feel like now's the time to do it. July, August, when it's a little slower here, a little hotter. I'll make sure our AC's turned down.
It feels nice in here. It feels good.
Come hang out. All right, y'all. Stay blessed.
Peace out.
Hello, we're here with Laura from Silhouette on Site. She's the owner. We'll let you tell a little bit about that too. But we're live at Swain Boating House for the vendor event.
Laura has a pretty crazy story she's going to start us up with, so I'll let her get right into her story about a crazy bride.
Yes, this is one of my favorite stories to tell. It was one wedding we did a few years ago, and it starts with the bridal party staying out on Folly Beach, and they all got a house together, the groomsmen and the bridesmaids, and they all went out drinking. And one of the groomsmen was married, but his wife did not come with him. So he was in this wedding, solo trip, and he was very intoxicated and hitting on one of the bridesmaids. And she knew he was married, so she completely shut it down, did not want him to advance on her at all. So she ended up leaving the bar that they were at, going back to the house and passing out. Bride gets back to the house to go check on her, and she opens the door, and he is on top of her while she is passed out.
I don't think I ever heard this full story.
I never heard any
the
of
whole
this
thing.
story.
Yes. And she immediately starts freaking out. And the bride is also pregnant, so she cannot physically get him off of her. So she calls her fiance, who she's marrying the next day, to come over to the house. He walks in the door, puts the man against the wall, and punches him in the face.
Oh my God.
So next morning, we're getting ready, doing hair and makeup, and we're hearing this story. And we're all wondering, is this guy going to show up? Because he ended up going to the ER, ended up having to get stitches. And he did show up. And the bride told us that the entire morning his wife has been calling her to find out what had happened, and she refuses to answer her phone. She will not tell her the story. She does not want to be involved. It was her wedding day.
Oh my God, this is crazy. I never heard this story.
I knew about it, but I don't think I heard the full story. But I feel like I was on that wedding, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was at Gadsden House.
Oh, then never mind.
Yeah, it was at the Gadsden House. And
This was a groomsman?
a groomsman that got
Was he
punched
still
by the
in
groom.
the wedding then?
I mean, he came, he showed up.
Oh my
That's
God.
crazy. I would have been like, you're out.
Well, I don't even
That's
know if he
crazy.
remembers. They were all very intoxicated, so I have no idea.
That's insane.
The girl,
And me as the bride, I don't think I would want him in my wedding at that.
oh, she was livid. She was so livid, and I think she was letting her fiance handle it. Like she just wanted to try and enjoy her day as much as possible. Like I said, she was also pregnant, so that was like another level. But the bridesmaid had no idea. She was completely passed out, so she didn't even know what was happening.
It's crazy. They go so hard sometimes. I've definitely worked a wedding where the groomsman was arrested the night before because he got too drunk and was being inappropriate in public.
Yeah.
And they didn't know if he was going to make it to the wedding. He did. It ended up being fine, but like they were literally calling the jailhouse trying to see like when he was going to be released to see if he would be able to be in the wedding.
That's crazy.
I think this is why these IV drip places are so popular.
Yeah.
Wedding
It's like
mornings.
some vitamin C,
Yeah.
some vitamin D.
It's they sober you up a little bit.
Yeah. I'm sure they have some wild stories too, like from people coming in and like doing weddings.
Oh yeah, probably.
I'm curious to know if there's more crazy night before weddings or day of wedding stories.
Yeah, that's
You know, because there's so many people that get drunk the night before a wedding that affects the wedding day, but then there's also the craziness comes out on the wedding day.
I would not want to be that drunk the day before my wedding.
I agree, but I don't think that's the norm, apparently.
That wedding I ended up having to work for you, that Brian ended up in the hospital.
Oh yeah.
Was that through?
It was one of my first ones through Silhouette.
What happened to that one?
The very first bridesmaid that I did was, I think she was still drunk from the night before. Like, I don't even think she was hungover. I think she was still drunk. She requested an updo, and I was on my third person. I looked over, and she was sleeping on the couch, like full laid out with her updo, sleeping on the couch. And I looked at that bride, and I was like, I'm not redoing her hair. It will be an extra charge.
Good for you.
And the bride started screaming at her. But this girl, she couldn't even, like, walk in the door when they first got there. Like, that drunk. Like, I don't know.
That actually reminds me of another story.
Go ahead, tell it.
Okay, so this is prior to me opening Silhouette on Site, when it was just me and another hairstylist kind of doing weddings together. And we had this bride who was probably the most nervous bride I've ever experienced in my life. Like, she was very high anxiety ridden. She was curled up on a couch, like rocking back and forth. Like, she was just nervous. Like, she wanted to get married, but she just was so nervous about the whole day. So my hairstylist looked over and she's like, honey, do you want like an Ativan? And she's like, yes, please. So she grabbed some out of her purse and she like wanted to put like 3 in her hand. She's like, no, just like take one, maybe half of one. She took one.
That's not us.
Not us. For once.
So about an hour later, she was like, I just love everyone.
Oh my
God. She was
God.
like, she was just like, come here and give me a hug. You guys are so awesome. I'm so excited about today. And her sister came up to the hairstylist and was like, oh my God, what did you give her? And she goes, I gave her an Ativan. She goes, she thought you said Advil. And so she's like, she's never had any kind of drugs in her life except for Tylenol. And she's like, oh my God, I just drugged the bride unintentionally. But she was 100% drugged, had no idea. Yeah, she enjoyed that wedding, that's for sure.
It
That's
happens.
good. I would have been freaking out, I feel. Like,
Well,
if somebody had...
When I did start the company, that was one strict rule I had. I'm like, hey, we're not giving drugs to brides, so don't.
On one of the other podcasts, I had something similar. I didn't give them the drugs, but it was one of my very first brides, and I had her on a trial with her, and her bridesmaids drugged her.
No.
She got to my chair. Yeah, she got to my. Well, so I think she probably knew the first time. She got to my chair. Our listeners already heard this, but we're gonna tell Laura and Erica this as well. So she got to my chair. She just kept saying she didn't care what I did. I'm like, do you want it up? Do you want it down? Like, I need something to work with. So I thought she was having like an anxiety attack or like starting to like shut down. And I went and found one of the bridesmaids, and she was like, yeah, about that. And I was like, about that? Like, what do you mean about that? And she said, well, I gave her a Xanax earlier, but I didn't know that one of the other bridesmaids had already given her a Xanax. This poor bride took 2 Xanaxes.
I would be laid out.
Yeah, well,
like laid out.
I guarantee this bride doesn't even remember her wedding. Like, I'm
It's
like,
my wedding.
your bridesmaids straight up drug you.
Oh, it would have been...
But why didn't the bride be like, my...
So
I already got
I'm
one of
wondering, that's what I don't understand, but I'm also wondering if she had never taken it before, if she took one, was she even in her right mind at that point when
To even know she was taking
like, I took Xanax for a while, and I lost like a week of my life to that, because I don't remember it was after trauma, like it was prescribed, but I don't remember a lot of it.
What the heck?
I feel
That's
like if you
crazy.
don't really technically need it, you don't.
I would lose 18 hours to sleep.
Yeah, no, I lost I don't
Or
remember
gain
any
it.
of
Or gain it.
Yeah. I did somebody's hair and like called her yelling at her that she went to see somebody else. And she was like, no, you did my hair. I was like, you didn't see me. You had to have seen somebody else. And she said, look in your phone.
And you
there
actually
were
did her
pictures
hair,
of
and you don't remember.
her in Panera with the foils in her hair. I have zero recollection. So then my next question was, does it look okay? I have never.
She's like, it's the best
This
it's
was
ever looked.
highlights. Like, this wasn't an update. This was highlights. This was when I was in like full service. Yeah, drugs and alcohol really can turn the tides of a wedding here.
Sure. Erica, do you have any crazy stories? She's also a hair and makeup artist for Silhouette on Site. I think the most recent one was a bride that I trialed. She used her trial for engagement photos, which I absolutely hate, because engagement photos are typically a much more casual look than your wedding day, so then you're having to take down wedding hair, and it never turns out good. So she wanted these, it was August, she wanted loose curls. They were photographing at like 3 o'clock in August, and her hair fell. So she emails like a few weeks later, and she's like, I just am like so disappointed because my hair fell, and then she said she was divorced, and I'm like thinking, what? So she asked me in the trial, how'd you meet your boyfriend? And I said, well, we both went through divorces, and we reconnected after 30 years, and because I said we went through divorces, she didn't want me to be a part of her wedding day because she was afraid I was going to say.
So were none of her guests
the word divorce on her wedding
That's
day?
so crazy.
And I'm thinking, honey, if you're that sensitive, maybe you should be doing this.
Yeah, insecure. And also, were none of her guests divorced ever?
Or her parents?
Yeah.
Like, what are you supposed to do when somebody asks you a question and
You
you
answer
respond?
honestly.
Yeah. So honestly, she was attacking my character because her curls fell. It had nothing to do with me being divorced. It was because her curls fell in August.
Your
So,
curls
I mean,
are gonna fall.
We
I'm
just have
sorry.
a rule that we only do updos in August. Like,
Yeah.
that needs to just be.
Yeah.
No one has to have those.
Sorry, guys. That's my phone ringing.
Or you're emotionally mature enough to not attack somebody's character based on a service you're not happy with.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I hope she never ends up divorced.
I have a feeling it won't be long.
Yeah. Do you ever wonder who's marrying this person?
I always wonder if
Yes.
I always
Yes,
wonder
all the
if
time.
the groom is thinking, what am
How-
I doing? I'm too late and too far into this to make this
Yeah.
not happen.
Yeah.
Yes.
I haven't told the story yet of the worst bride I've ever had and the awful, horrendous things she said. But that's another one where I'm like, run
Who's
for the
marrying
hills.
you?
Like, what? Who would marry you?
Yeah.
Do you ever have a bride that you're like, how did you even get engaged?
Yes. I'm like, who is like committing to? Why is this happening? I don't get. Yeah. I actually had a bride getting married in Martha's Vineyard one year, and she paid for the team from Croston to come to Martha's Vineyard, booked flights, everything, our accommodations was already paid for. None of it could be refunded. So a couple weeks before we're supposed to leave for Martha's Vineyard, the planner calls and says, have to cancel because the bride found the groom having an affair with one of her bridesmaids.
I've actually heard this, but it never gets
old. And our accommodations were non-refundable, so we just went on the most epic girls trip.
That works out.
It was like go to Martha's Vineyard or stay home. But yeah, it was sad. It was a sad situation, and they probably lost out on about $250,000 worth of deposits. And
That
makes me want to.
And it sucks for the vendor too. Like, you want to be able to do.
I mean, they had a great girls trip.
I mean, that's true too.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it sucks for the vendor to I wouldn't want to take the money at that point because I feel bad, but
That's
also
true,
I
yeah.
already
But it was
went all
also
the way
a
up there.
Saturday in
Yeah,
September that
you're
turned
blocking-
1,000 weddings
yeah.
down for.
Yeah. So it
And you have to
sucks
worry about
on both
yourself,
ends.
too. Yeah.
Crazy.
Ready for my next one?
Yes.
Laura's back.
Okay.
Wait, she's
This was
pulling out
actually
photo evidence.
No. I was looking up something. So this was actually could be the greatest compliment we've ever gotten. After a trial, this trial was done probably 2 months, a little close to 2 months before the wedding. A wedding planner had texted me a picture of the bride saying that our hair and makeup is mugshot approved because right after the trial, she got into a domestic violence situation with her fiance, was arrested, and has a mugshot
Oh my
and
God.
full hair and makeup.
Oh my God. Did she still marry him?
No, the wedding was called off,
Oh my God.
and she was paid in full. We did not refund.
Oh my God.
I hope they did not get married. That is a nightmare.
No.
There's people out there that
Before the
would.
wedding than after
Of
the
course,
wedding.
Yeah.
of course.
Unfortunately.
I think you get that far in, and it's like it's not the right thing to do, but like everybody's here and waiting, and it's like, what do you do? Yeah. Where do you start that unravel?
Yeah.
Right. And the money.
And
The money that goes
yeah.
into it.
So I
Yeah,
get it,
it's crazy.
but I think I also would be one of those persons that's like, I can't do this. I don't care at this point. Like, we're not doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of that has to do with age, though, because as you get older, you get wiser, and some of these brides are so young and immature.
Yeah.
They just,
They're just like, it might get better.
they're making decisions based off zero life experience.
I've actually been shocked at how young some of my brides have been.
Yes. Yeah.
I had a bride that was 20 years old, and I was just like,
Don't do it!
no!
You're just getting married.
It works
I-
out.
Listen, if you're that young, you're just getting married to have sex. Let's just be honest. Let's be honest.
Usually are more religious brides who
I
have
hate
those
to
kind
say
of
this too. I feel like a lot of it's like military involved.
Oh, that didn't think about it. You're right.
Yeah.
And that's not even
For
from this
benefits.
industry,
Yeah.
just from like my brother being in the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
And like, I think a lot of marriages, I know plenty of friends of my brothers that got into good relationships very young. They're still in them, they're still very happy, but I think a lot are like, okay, either they're going somewhere, or I also think there's a lot of women that are just in it for the military benefits, which I know that's horrible to say. And Holly, not you. Yeah, not you, not you. Holly, not you. You have proven your love for each other.
Appreciate that.
You guys were together for a long time though before you, like, I'm talking about the ones that are like, oh, we've been at each other 8 months, let's get married. Because we can buy a house.
That's actually happened to a few people that I know. Like,
Yeah.
just getting married for the military benefits for sure.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
It's unfortunate. But I do think sometimes I see these young brides and I'm like, girl, you have not lived your life yet. Because when I was 22, I thought I was in love with somebody. Like, I thought
Everybody.
it was the end all
was in
be
love with
all.
everybody.
And
Every boyfriend I had was
I
my
went through-
soulmate.
Yes. I went through my first heartbreak at 24, and all I could think was, God, I'm really glad I didn't, like,
Marry this
person.
Yeah. Yeah, could you imagine?
Bless
like,
his
I can't
heart.
even- like, obviously, my first technical boyfriend. I can't imagine marrying him, like, 16. Like, what?
Yeah.
Because Ryan and I met when we were 17, 18. So, yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy.
I am one in a million, I would say.
Yeah, don't tell my kids that, please.
No, I will not. The secret is safe for me.
Stay clear.
I've seen it work a lot of times. I've seen
I
young
see. I
people
feel
who
like it either really
met
works or
like
it doesn't.
young, and they've been together for like 12 years, and then they get married because now they're in their 20s.
Yeah.
You know, and it works. And then I've seen a lot of people grow apart as they get older.
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure.
This has been a Trolley Productions.